Okay, tiny bit of work on the bike. When I'd left you, I'd just done the front and rear wheels. I've decided to go with the gunmetal for the chain. Round there, I've got to top it up with some silver because I went a bit overboard so it doesn't look circular, especially here. So I'll top that up with some silver. It's mainly the little strips on the front of the body, this area here where it's got to be silver. You could probably just make out that I've got some masking tape on. I put some in the little groove there, the little channel, and tried to get in the best I could because underneath it's silver as well, and I didn't want any silver getting on this section here or in the channel. Trying to get the tape flat in there was very, very difficult indeed, and I don't think it is all flat. So I reckon the proof in the pudding will be when I take the tape away. I'm hoping there's no silver in that little channel at all. Done a bit round the back with the masking tape there. Still got to finish that off, obviously. Same again on this side, rinse and repeat. Just that little stripe there, and this little bit on the back here, round by the exhausts. Again, trying to get the tape in the channel. In the channel there. I'll put some on the top there as well. So, 2 coats of silver. And the proof in the pudding, we want to take the tape off, which I'm about to do now. So, let's see what happens. Right, welcome back. I've done a fair whack of work this week, mainly detailing. So when I left you, I'd just got the masking tape underneath there in the channel. So I painted all that silver, removed the masking tape, and I don't know if it'll let me get underneath there. You see that's not too bad. Let me try the flash, see if I can get to. That's it. I don't know if you can make it out, but that doesn't look too bad underneath. So I took the tape off after I'd done that. I then painted the inside of these little grids in silver as well, and then tidied it up with the black. I've also done those bits here on the silver. That's been done in the silver. I've done that top bit in the silver. I've done this like engine cover here, venting, whatever, that's done in silver. If you can just get in there, the grating there, the engine grating, that's all been just on the tops of the silver. Same again on this side, all silver, and on that side as well. Now the back piece, I masked off around the edges because it's got like a slight indent, slight raised section with the line. So I just put some 1mm masking tape on that, painted that silver, and then on top of that I painted my baby blue Americana craft paint. And it took 2 coats, I think, with the top up. Once that was done, I then painted this red area here. So I painted silver on top of that, and then Vallejo Carmine Red 70.908 on top of that. That took about 2 coats with a touch up as well, and that's not looking too bad either. So that's my detailing done. Now, right from the very beginning, I told you that the handlebar had snapped off on the left side, and the actual gear change handle had come off as well. So what I've done is I got a bit of Milliput, rolled it out to the same length as that one, and let that dry fully, and then got my UV glue and glued it onto the end of here, and it's glued on really, really nice. Now the little ball on the end of the gear changer, I actually made a little Milliput ball, and I was pointing the handle to go into the little hole on the ball, but then I realised I could make a ball with the UV glue. So I just made the UV glue ball and then just got the torch on it to let it dry out, and I think that looks better. Not too bad at all. You can just see it there just in front of the top of my finger. So all I've got to do now, I mean, I've obviously got to paint and detail and primer and paint this first, but then that will go back on there somehow. But yeah, that'll go back on there like that. So there we go, that's a bit better. So that'll go on there like that, or I'll just UV glue that on once I've painted it. So just got to primer that now. Okay, welcome back. I can happily say that the Street Talk bike has been finished. I've done that last bit of detailing. I've glued the handlebar, the left handlebar, back onto the main handlebar, and I've obviously detailed all of that. And I'm really well chuffed on how this has turned out. I know it's been a long time in the making, but it's been worth it in the end. So here's the final reveal. Right, so there it is in all its glory with the figure. Right, so when I'd left you, I just got everything glued onto the the left handlebar with the lever here. I've made that out of Milliput, so I primed that in the grey, and then I painted it all silver, and then I painted black on top of that. And for the ends of the handles, I've just done a bit of gunmetal, so that's looking really nice. I painted the silver on, and then on top of the silver, if I can find my pencil, there it is, you've got the red button, you've got red, blue, yellow, green and an orange button. So that's all that done. The decals have gone down really well with the microset and the microsole. You can't really see that one in there. Let me try the flash, see if that does anything. You can just about make out that decal down there. Like I said, you've got the one in the on the inside there on that little wall there inside the channel. But yeah, the microsole's done its job, because I was hoping it would do, because I didn't really want to sand all that down and then apply the decal. So you can see the indentations of the buttons. That's gone down really well. So here's my, so I did 2 sets of the decals just to be, so I wouldn't, if I screwed up. So there's your second set of decals. You've got the main dash, you've got the underneath windscreen dash, and then the one that goes in that little channel. So that's all that, just in case I screwed up. So move my little Jessie figure out of the way. So there's all the handlebars and that. I painted the other little box here, just painted down in silver, because there's no detail on that. And then you've gone gunmetal for the end of the handle there. I've explained all that previously, but yeah, the bike's looking really nice. Not bad at all. So what I've done is, for the windscreen, I've just got, instead of painting silver, I used aluminium, Revlon aluminium, and then just painted that on. That's looking really nice. It's a shame, you know, maybe the guy could have put a clear part on there, or just like add that flat and then give you a clear part after that. I don't know, but to be honest, I think it looks really nice. Not bad at all. Really chuffed on how this has turned out. Really well chuffed indeed. You know, I mean, to painting wise, it's only been mainly black and silver, anthracite for the wheels, the gold, a bit of red and a bit of blue, but it's mainly been black and silver. Getting in there, once I put the decal in, I had to paint around the edges, and up inside here as well, I had to paint around the edges. Trying to get a brush in there without getting the black onto the decal by accident was very difficult, but I just about managed to do it. Once that had dried, I then sealed it with the satin clear paint. I didn't do gloss or matte. Yeah, really well chuffed with that. Now, around the back here where I used the UV glue, it's virtually invisible. Oh, I forgot about that bit there. I've obviously got to top that up. That's okay, that's not a problem. But yeah, the UV glue did its job, held all that on into place. Now, I've got to figure out how I'm going to sit Jessie, my action figure, on the bike. So I'm just going to stop this a sec and I'm going to figure this out. Right, so after about 5 minutes of fiddling around, I've managed to get him on the bike. He's not quite touching the handlebars. It's like the cross between Alice on my zombie diorama and the Trooper on the bike for the Endor diorama. He doesn't 100% want to fit, and that right hand keeps popping off, and the carpet monster wants to bloody eat it. But yeah, he does sit on the bike. I could probably position him a bit more to get him into the final position. One of the problems is his feet are slightly too big for the foot rests, and there's not much of a gap between the body and the bike and the body of this hydroplane here, whatever you want to call it. His foot on it just barely goes in. It's not too bad on that side, but again, it is quite a tight fit. But with his back, because it pendulums there and it goes forward there, I can actually get him seated, you know, fairly forward like that. But yeah, the figure is, I will admit, someone did point this out on the Street Talk Command Centre, that it's a bit out of scale. Maybe the figure's a bit too big for the bike. But at least the figure will sit on the bike somewhat. I've just got to try and position him a bit more. But yeah, I'm really well chuffed with this. So, again, the link is below for this. He does it in various different scales, Andrew, over at 3D Scale Model World, or whatever he's bloody called. But yeah, I'll put the link below. He does various different scales. This is the 112, as I've said. But yeah, it's looking really nice. You know, this is part of my childhood, you know. Like I said, in no particular order. I mean, well, Airwolf and Street Talk being my favourites. On a Saturday action telly over in the UK, you had Airwolf, Street Talk, Knight Rider, 18, Fall Guy. You know, on a Sunday you had V. Like I said, Airwolf and Street Talk were my favourites. So I'll just turn this round for one last look with the rider. I'm going to pause this a sec again. Right, so taking the figure off the bike, the handlebar come off again, so I've had to re-glue that back on, because as I was taking him off the bike toppled that way and that handlebar's come off again. The one detail I did forget to tell you about is the light strip at the front of the bike. Now, as you know, in the TV show, that glowed like a lightish blue. So what I've done is I've got some wire, food cable ties. I don't know if them food ties or them slightly stronger than food ties, but the actual metal inside the tie, it's actually got like a clear sheath that is on top of the tie, and if you pull at it slightly and stretch it, it'll actually remove itself from the sheath. And the sheath will remove itself from the actual wire. And that's what I've used. I was going to use a straw, but the straw was too big. So I've glued it on there. Got the UV glue, went all the way around. I didn't do any on the front because there's not much of a groove there. So I've just set a flat bank. So I just UV glued the little sheath, the tube sheath, to the inside of that groove. And on the other side, there. And then just got some of my Tamiya Clear Blue, once that had dried on there with my UV glue, and just painted it on. And I think that looks really nice. Let's see if I can pick it up with a flash a bit better. Is it showing up a bit better? Slightly. But yeah, just painted that in the Tamiya Clear Blue. So it gives it a nice... it's not as light as it is on the show, but you can definitely see it. It is there. So that's the last final detail that I've put on. But yeah, looking really, really nice. So just keep twiddling this round. And that's it, street talk's all done. And there's my figure standing there. I'm probably going to leave the figure off the bike because he doesn't quite sit on the bike properly, to be honest. I wish I could have like manoeuvred his legs a bit more, but with this handlebar being the way it is and it keeps coming off, I'm just going to stand him at the side of the bike, probably like, whoops, and you can see his helmet still comes off. Because I've actually blue tacked him to there, so I can just have him standing there just in front of the bike like that. But I'm really well chuffed with this. This is, like I said, this is the second part of my childhood, because, you know, I've built Airwolf twice. I've now got Street Hawk. I can actually, let me turn the flashback off. I can actually replicate that picture. If I can get me a Night Rider kit and an A-Team kit, A-Team van kit, that is my childhood in that picture. Right, so just turning the camera around. And that's it, Street's all done. I want to thank you for sticking with me over these many months that I've been working on this, because I've had other things to do as well. And work's gone absolutely manic again, so I do a little bit here and there after work every day. But it depends how fed up I am with work the way it is. So I'll put some stills on after this, and again, I always say this, hopefully I haven't bored you too much, and we'll see you soon with my next build. Thank you very much for watching.